Hello and welcome to World Talks on TVP World. My name is Marie Cato. Today we want to talk about the impressive growth of the business services sector here in Poland. We are at the European Financial Congress in Sopot, and I have the great pleasure of speaking to Janusz Dziurzyński, who is the president of ABSL Poland and the general manager of BAT Digital Businesses Services. Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So I want to talk about this impressive growth that we are witnessing in Poland. It's been happening for a great many years, and I think for many Poles who are in the business services sector, it's changed their careers, it's changed their lives. And I want to talk about the impressive numbers that we have been seeing. Your recent report has showed that in the first quarter of 2024, we have seen 1,941 service centers, over 1,000, close to 1,200 investors. We'll talk about some other numbers later on, but I wanted to ask you to tell us about how this phenomenon has happened in Poland and how this has really positioned Poland in the global market.
You use the right word. It's phenomenon. It's absolute success, and I think I would split the viewers into two categories of people. First, two groups. First group that is really aware of what's happened, and the second one that is not. So for the second one, very briefly, the last 20 years is a story of unbelievable success that many countries are jealous, that many countries would like to replicate, that many countries are very closely looking at as a global phenomenon, not the local, not the regional, but global. About 20 years ago, we started the journey of providing so-called business services. This means certain functions, certain processes within typical mainstream of operations of big corporates. And we decided to raise our hands to say, hey, we can do this better for you. And this is where the journey started. So for the last 20 years, one by one, dozens by dozens, companies have moved their operations over to Poland, creating their centers that they are doing very wide range of service provision. That started with simple tasks, like accounting or human resources, services, payroll, but then gradually moved over the ladder of complexity, of complication of those services. And right now we are providing quite advanced processes like global network planning, anti-money laundering, cybersecurity, advanced analytics, or cloud migration processes. So over those years, the success has been inevitable. It was just, we've been going from strength to strength. Nothing managed to break the growth. COVID didn't manage. The financial crisis of 2008 didn't manage to crush us. Quite opposite. From every single circumstance like that, as a sector, we came even stronger than ever. And right now we enjoy the position number 2. Imagine that. It changes over the years. Poland is either number 2 or number 3 on the global landscape of preferred places to invest in building global business services, which is phenomenon. Would you probably agree?
Absolutely. So the offer has expanded, but also the demands of those who are in the business service sector has also risen. So obviously salaries are on the rise. People obviously gain more and more experience, and so they want to actually move up the career ladder. They've done their bit in the business services sector. So how do investors see that? Because people want to move on, their expectations rise. So what do we do with the people who have gained more and more experience, because they also want to develop their positions?
A spot on question. People and talent is number 1 priority for this sector. You can very easily move machines, you can very easily move offices. You can very easily get laptop and move to and simply go and provide your services from somewhere else. Remote work or hybrid work teaches us this very clearly. However, the competitive advantage lies in the ability how you manage and consistently develop talent. We started from a very simple services, and very simple tasks, as I mentioned. But over time, those more advanced tasks, they require completely different competencies. And this is where the rubber hits the road, because this is where we need to consistently and very consciously over the years build capabilities of the people. From the moment we recruit them, from the moment we onboard them, we train them, we teach them, and this is very important, teach them global processes of what kind of business processes they are managing from their actions. So it's a combination of the soft skills, but a very hard technical skills rooted in the business processes that we are trying to manage. And then when you manage to tick all these boxes, which is not easy, all of a sudden we are very important and we have a voice at the table to say, hold on a moment, this process works this way, that today, it potentially using technology could work much better that way, and we're going to see 20% productivity improvement. Now, this is kind of a language we talk, this is kind of the proposition we sell, and this is where global investors are getting more and more interested to benefit from this kind of efficiency, productivity, competence, and innovation. And this is precisely when we add value. This journey never stops. It started 20 years ago, year after year. This is a continuing progress, and even today we are talking like it has been past. It's not the past. It's a continuous development, and the game never changes.
But wouldn't you say that, regardless of the expansion of the business services sector, that the top executive positions still remain in, let's say, Frankfurt, in Switzerland?
It's a fact.
And will that change?
I hope so. This is our objective. First of all, the sector is constructed in a way that more than 90% of all investors come from abroad. So this is starting point. Mm-hmm. So it's a good thing, but of course, it's a good thing that they invest here, not elsewhere. But for us, it provides a great opportunity and continuous challenge of, okay, how can I get up on the ladder of the value add and at some point of time be in a position to take a real seat at the table to be one of those who make decisions. And this is exactly what is our journey for last 2-3 years, maybe a bit more, depending on how advanced the company is, depending how open the headquarters are, and depending how great talent we have. Because if our leaders are...
Because the talent is there.
Totally. Talent is there, but talent and talent, those are two different things. One portion of talent is the people who actually do the job. And they can do a very sophisticated job. Imagine anti-money laundering or cybersecurity. Those things are critical for business operations. Nobody questions that. But there is another thing, and this is your question, how can you make sure that the people, that our leaders, are really those who make decisions, business decisions, not the process decisions, not the business process decisions, business decisions of where to invest, what is the strategy, what is the priority, where do we go with the new investment? Those are two different things. And what we are talking about is the second part, where we, leaders of the sector that has been fantastically growing over several years, it's a story of success. Again, many countries would be willing to kill to be in the position that we are today. But this is our position. The point is, nothing is guaranteed. If we stay, if we get very complacent and we get very happy with where we are today, this is going to be beginning of the end. And I don't want to be a bad prophet. This is never going to happen because we know that. So this thing never stops. There is somebody asks, so where is the ceiling of the growth of the business? That's another question, right? We are talking about 500,000 people employed in the sector. It's massive, okay? We are representing more than 7% of employment in this country. And this is one of the most, if not the most innovative sector in the industry in general. And we account for almost 6% of GDP. Those numbers are huge. And it took us several years to come here. However, the sector is saturating in a sense that we need to shift to a different means of measurement. So far, and over the last several years, we measured success by numbers of centers being opened, by number of new employees that are coming, but number of people from abroad who decide to work with us. Right now, we want to measure effectiveness. We want to see what is the value export per person, because the fact that we export like $40 billion, I repeat that, $40 billion worth of export every single year from this country is huge, but the question is different. The question is how efficient your 500,000 people, how efficient these people are. And if we say today is $60,000 per head, tomorrow it needs to be 70, then 75. You understand, right? So this is one thing. The second thing is what kind of innovation comes from here. We see leaders, global leaders, who come over to our centers, who see the business sector, who talk to people every single time, without exception. They are impressed with what they see. But they are impressed with what they see because they come here. The idea of the leaders in Poland is to make sure that we are very effective in talking, in having a storytelling about the success and what we can do for them. So they don't need to come here. It's us who go there and tell them what to do. This is what I define as a success.
Well, talking about innovation and efficiency, I wanted to ask about Poland's cities and where we have these business centers, because I have a sense that Warsaw is no longer the hub. There is a move towards Wrocław, Poznań, Kraków, and I wanted to ask you about what's going on there.
It's one of our great competitive advantages. Why? Because unlike UK, unlike many Asian countries, we have, unlike France or Spain, we do not have a mega city in the country, but we have many mid-sized cities, and those mid-sized cities are equipped with excellent infrastructure, great universities, and centers who exist them today. So the fact that we operate in ABSL, we have so-called chapters. I mean, we are present in different locations. For now, we are in 8 different locations, from the north to the south, from east to west, and we are present everywhere, in every single place when investors are interested to come, when local authorities are interested to invest, when strong universities produce great talent, and this is where we are. So the fact that we are pretty much everywhere, and the fact that when an investor comes and wonders whether I'm an investor, if I want to invest in Warsaw, maybe in Kraków, maybe in Wrocław, or perhaps in Lublin, right? We have proposition for them. We have proposal, because we have great talent to offer, modern office spaces to offer, and the knowledge of the people who will become immediately employers. One more thing, at any point of time, in this country, we have between 1 million to 1,200,000 students, which means we produce 200, 400 graduates every single year. Those are the people who are taught on the going basis on how to succeed everywhere, but also in the sector. So our ambition is to make sure that universities and the education system prepares people to succeed in the sector.
But why is Warsaw less of an attractive place now? Would you confirm that investors are moving away from Warsaw?
No. It really depends. It really depends which sector you're talking about. If a bank comes over if a bank investor, we are in AKF, right? If bank comes over, they will typically choose the place that is more known, and when there is a more known for financial services and banking. In that case, they will come to Warsaw. And there is no discussion. However, if they want to go to the IT provision, and they are when say IBM, you mentioned IBM, but many other companies who are much more focused on AI or technologies, and they are looking for the best talents, they would choose Wrocław or Tri-City. Right? Not because Warsaw doesn't have it. It's because there is competition and because there's a little bit of specialization. It's not huge specialization, because you can see all sorts of services in every single city that I mentioned. However, there is a choice, and choice is the name of the game.
I want to ask about AI, because AI is obviously
yes.
a top issue now. Do you see that as some kind of competition when it comes to Poland's position, to the people who make up the expertise? Is there going to be some kind of complementary relationship? Is it something that can work with business service centers, or is it something that is a bit of a challenge?
Whatever I'm going to say is going to be perceived as my position or my opinion. I would probably refer to the hard data, to the facts. Almost 80% of the leaders of the sector. By leader of the sector, I mean the head of one of the 2,000 centers that operate today in Poland. People who employ all these people, the 500,000 people who produce all that business, people who aspire to be leaders in the game that we just talked about, in the business game that we just talked about. Almost 80% of respondents to ABSL reports, that is more than 200 companies from Fortune 500, they say and they perceive AI as an opportunity. They look at, not me, they look at that as an opportunity, that this gives them additional boost and tool to get rid of a lower sort of services, get rid of the back office stuff, move up on the ladder of value creation, and use on that journey AI and the gifts of the modern technology. Of course there are traps. Of course there are jobs that will be eliminated, but that's not necessarily bad, because you want to eliminate jobs that would be eliminated anyway. You want to do this proactively, and by doing that, you want to look on the future of what is there and think very carefully how to equip the talent we talked about with this additional spin of AI.
So do you think that AI will actually boost Poland's position in our
Totally,
region?
if we do this right.
Okay, all right. Well, it's been great speaking to you. Janusz Dziurzyński, President of ABSL Poland, General Manager, BAT Digital Business Services. It's been
Thank
great
you very much.
speaking to you.
Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of World Talks. Thank you so much for joining us, and stay tuned for more exclusive interviews on TVP World. Goodbye.